Breaking news! The Philadelphia Eagles are making headlines as they enter Week 18 with a bold decision, resting their starters against the Washington Commanders and putting the offense in the hands of a player who has quickly become a fan favorite in the city. I'll tell you all the details. But first, make sure you hit the like button if you believe the Eagles will reach the Super Bowl again. And right, go Eagles! I believe! First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni have decided to do something bold in the next game. The Eagles have decided to put the offense in the hands of a promising player. Do you know who I'm talking about? Tanner McKee. With Jalen Hurts out of the game, the spotlight is entirely on McKee, who will make his first start of the 2026 season and have the chance to remind everyone what he can offer. This is not uncharted territory for McKee. Fans remember the composure he displayed last season when he was brought onto the field against the Dallas Cowboys, showing control and confidence in a tough divisional matchup. And, of course, who could forget his debut as a starter against the New York Giants, where he not only controlled the game but also won it. In a limited season in 2025, McKee threw for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns, completing 30 of 45 passes, finishing the year with a 66.7% completion rate and, remarkably, 0 interceptions. In a league obsessed with protecting the ball, those numbers are striking, not just locally, but league-wide. Nick Sirianni made it clear during his press conference that McKee's development hasn't gone unnoticed inside the NovaCare complex. According to Sirianni, McKee's growth has been a product of both his natural football IQ and the environment around him. He's really good about knowing where to go with the football, seeing the defense, and being able to deliver things accurately, Sirianni said, crediting not just McKee's hard work, but also the quarterback room that surrounds him. Sitting behind a franchise QB like Jalen Hurts, McKee has had a front-row seat to greatness. That kind of exposure is invaluable for a young quarterback trying to soak in every detail of what it takes to lead an NFL offense. Sirianni also praised the coaching efforts behind the scenes. From quarterbacks coach Scott Loeffler to past mentors like Doug Nussmeier and Kellen Moore, McKee has had the advantage of learning from some of the league's most respected offensive minds. And that mentorship seems to be paying off. It's not just about his arm strength or accuracy. McKee has developed a calm command in the pocket and a growing understanding of how to break down defensive looks pre-snap. Two things that are often the difference between a backup quarterback and a true starter. What makes this Week 18 matchup even more compelling is what it represents for the franchise's future. When the Eagles traded away Kenny Pickett, their backup in 2025, to the Cleveland Browns, it raised a few eyebrows. The front office had selected Kyle McCord in the 2025 NFL Draft, a promising young talent from Ohio State. But even with McCord on the roster, Howie Roseman made a clear decision. McKee was the guy they trusted behind Jalen Hurts. League sources indicated that Roseman received multiple calls from teams in need of a quarterback throughout the offseason and even into the early part of this year. And while no official trade discussions were confirmed publicly, there was a strong sense that teams were keeping close tabs on McKee's development. Some personnel executives reportedly believed he could start for at least 5 or 6 teams in the league today. But Roseman didn't flinch. In fact, he picked up the phone himself to call McKee and tell him he wasn't going anywhere. He'd be QB2 in Philadelphia for 2026. That kind of direct communication says a lot about the organization's view of McKee, and it speaks volumes about the confidence they have in his potential. You don't make those kinds of commitments unless you believe the player is ready and worth keeping close. For McKee, Sunday's game isn't just another chance to take snaps. It's a stage to showcase to the rest of the NFL what the Eagles already believe he can become. Fans have long understood the value of a reliable backup quarterback. From Nick Foles' legendary run to the Super Bowl to Gardner Minshew's stint a few seasons ago, this city knows how vital it is to have a QB who can step in and compete at a high level. And now, Tanner McKee is the next in that line, ready to write his own chapter. But make no mistake, this isn't just about holding the fort. It's about pushing the ceiling even higher. If McKee shines again in Week 18 like he did last season, he'll put the Eagles in a fascinating position heading into the offseason. Do they continue to hold on to him, resisting potential trade offers? Or does his rising stock become impossible to ignore? There's no denying that Philadelphia is Jalen Hurts' team. He's the leader, the captain, the MVP candidate. But in today's NFL, where quarterback play can make or break a season, the value of a backup who can win games, execute the system, and make all the throws cannot be overstated. And that brings us back to Sunday. With the playoffs looming and the starters on ice, all eyes will be on Tanner McKee. The Commanders, despite their record, aren't about to roll over. They'll want to finish the year strong and play spoiler. That makes this a real test, not just a ceremonial outing or a meaningless game, but a true opportunity for McKee to command an offense, manage a full NFL game plan, and make a statement. So what does this game mean for McKee's future, and for the Eagles quarterback room as a whole? What do you think, Eagles fans? Is Tanner McKee showing he's the real deal and worth keeping long-term, or should the Eagles capitalize on his rising stock this offseason? There's a certain energy buzzing in Philadelphia that feels familiar, like the early whispers of something big. Tanner McKee, once just a name on the depth chart, now stands on the edge of an opportunity that could redefine not just his role with the Eagles, but potentially shift the quarterback landscape across the league. Sunday's game against the Washington Commanders might be meaningless for the standings, but it could be everything for McKee's career trajectory and the Eagles' long-term quarterback strategy. The Eagles didn't just stumble onto McKee. They saw something in him when other teams didn't. Coming out of Stanford, McKee was widely regarded as a quarterback with strong fundamentals, a high football IQ, and an NFL-ready frame. He wasn't the flashiest name in the draft, but to Howie Roseman and the Eagles scouting department, he was the kind of player that thrives in the right system. And now, after more than a year of development behind the scenes, he's about to get his biggest chance yet to prove them right. Behind the scenes, McKee has been putting in the kind of work that doesn't show up on stat sheets or highlight reels. Sitting in quarterback meetings with Jalen Hurts, working closely with Scott Loeffler and offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, absorbing every piece of information like a sponge. Sirianni emphasized that aspect. He's able to sit in that meeting room with Jalen for hours upon hours a day just learning from him. That's a big deal. That kind of dedication builds trust in a locker room, and more importantly, prepares a young quarterback to step in without the offense skipping a beat. What's striking about McKee's progression is the subtle shift in how the coaching staff and front office speak about him. Early last season, the talk was about development, patience, and learning the system. Now, it's about execution, leadership, and managing the offense. That change in tone reflects a deeper confidence in his abilities, not just as a fill-in, but as someone who can actually win games. And that's exactly what he's done. In limited time, McKee has already proven he can perform when it counts. Against the Giants last season, he didn't just play, it was a clinic in efficiency and poise. For touchdowns, no turnovers, and complete command of the offense. In a league where rookies and young QBs often struggle to adjust to the speed of the game, McKee looked like he belonged from the first snap. As the Eagles prepare to take on Washington, there's an internal buzz among coaches and front office staff who want to see just how far McKee has come. They already know he can operate the system. Now they want to see how he handles a full game with a game plan built around his strengths against a defense that will be playing aggressively. The Commanders may be out of the playoff race, but they're not lacking pride or pass rushers. What's particularly interesting is how this game fits into the Eagles' broader offseason strategy. With Kenny Pickett gone to Cleveland and Kyle McCord still developing, the Eagles are clearly committing to McKee as the clear number 2 heading into 2026. That's not a role given lightly in Philadelphia. It's a job with real responsibility, especially on a team that has championship aspirations every season. And yet, despite the commitment to McKee, the reality of the NFL is this: quarterback value is currency. If McKee shines again, the calls will come. General managers across the league are watching. There are teams who will miss out on top-tier QB prospects in the draft. Teams that have young, unproven quarterbacks who haven't panned out. Teams that might be willing to offer real assets for a player who has shown he can step in and win. That's the tightrope Howie Roseman will be walking in the coming months. Do you trade away a potential starter for a second or third round pick? Or do you hold on to him, knowing just how fragile quarterback health can be over a 17-game season? One injury to Hurts and McKee could be the difference between a lost season and another playoff run. But Sunday isn't about trade speculation or roster chess moves. It's about McKee showing, once again, that he's more than just a backup, that he's a starter in waiting. A quarterback who can command a huddle, dissect a defense, and keep the offense humming. It's a test, but it's also an opportunity, a live audition not just for 2026, but for the rest of the league. For fans, this game offers something rare, a chance to see a young quarterback grow in real time. It's a look into the future, whether that future is in midnight green or somewhere else. Every snap McKee takes is a data point for the coaching staff and front office. Every throw, every read, every audible is another piece of the puzzle. If McKee delivers, the Eagles will walk away from this season not just with their starter intact, but with a legitimate asset waiting in the wings. And for a franchise that has seen how important depth is at quarterback, that's a win in itself. So Eagles fans, what's your take? Is Tanner McKee proving he's a legitimate NFL starter and a vital piece of this team's future, or do you think Howie Roseman should start picking up the phone this offseason?